Buckle up, folks! Today we're exploring the most treacherous base locations in West Point. These bases not only lack proper protection, but they could lead to your downfall if you choose to hunker down in them. In a crowded town like West Point, your base is either a lifesaver or a disaster waiting to happen. We've carefully selected these spots based on our 3 core criteria from our best base locations videos: accessibility, defensibility, and available resources, just to make this list as objective as possible. So grab your sledgehammer, because today we're breaking down each of these locations. And so our adventure begins in the motel across the street from the Gigamark in downtown West Point. For those familiar with this town, it might come as a bit of a disappointment. Upon entering, you'll be greeted by a swarm of zombies, and the place doesn't boast any exceptional loot. Just a bunch of beds and decorations for your base. To add to that, leaving the motel means encountering the less than friendly West Point welcoming committee. And trust me, it is not a pleasant experience. If you ever entertain the terrible idea of hunkering down here, keep in mind that it has a whopping 23 entry points. Couple that with its location in one of the most infested areas of the city, and you've got a recipe for disaster waiting to happen. However, when we delve into points of interest, this place begins to shine. Situated in the heart of the city, it boasts a supermarket, grocery store, hardware store, bookstore, a pharmacy, 2 bars, a gun store, and many more. This alone lands it in the 5th spot. But before we move on to the next location, if you've been following the series, you know I enjoy highlighting seemingly terrible base locations that can transform into incredible bases with a bit of ingenuity. And this place is one of those gems. Observant players might have noticed a second floor, recognizable by the slanted roofing. Building a stair to the roof reveals an empty second floor with no solid flooring or roofing. By adding wooden floors to that covered area, you can create a secret base hidden from the naked eye. This spot is ideal for storing all sorts of loot, especially in multiplayer servers with no safe houses. So if you're eager to learn more about secret bases and gain an advantage over other Zomboid players, be sure to click the link in the top right corner of your screen. Our next destination is none other than the furniture shop in the heart of downtown West Point. The glaring issue with this place is immediately apparent. There isn't any single room where you can feel completely secure or take a break for a while. Every room is equipped with a window that broadcasts your position to the entire town. Adding to the challenge, this place boasts a whopping total of 16 entry points, making it a tough spot to defend. Inside, you'll find nothing but furniture, which could be disassembled for materials. However, the shop itself can't sustain you for more than a day since it lacks any valuable loot. You're essentially forced to scavenge the area for basic supplies. And as we've established earlier, the surroundings are like a music festival. But you know, with undead instead of people, so caution is paramount. While this location shares the same points of interest we covered in our previous entry, its notable drawback is the absence of a second floor, ruling out the possibility of secret bases here. A bit further to the west, our 3rd spot on the list is the kindergarten. And oh boy, this place is swarming with zombies. Just reaching it becomes a challenge due to the sheer number of undead in your path. If your character isn't skilled with any type of weapon, I'd advise against coming here. Clearing out the area of zombies would be a lengthy task, possibly taking days. On top of that, you'd face the daunting challenge of securing all 14 entry points to the building. Even if you were to disassemble all the furniture inside, it's unlikely you could completely fortify each of these vulnerable spots. The primary issue with this location is its lack of defensibility. Unlike the worst base locations in Muldraugh, where the main problems were resource scarcity and accessibility, many base locations in West Point suffer from lack of proper defensibility. Tall fences around buildings are uncommon, and the zombie population tends to spiral out of control, especially during zombie migration. Your best bet is to choose a place from the start that is easily defensible and can sustain you for the long haul. However, the kindergarten isn't that place, especially since it sits right on the dividing line between the eastern and the western part of the city. In the eastern part, you'll find crucial points of interest that can keep you alive for an extended period. Conversely, the western part mainly houses zombies and residences. Additionally, the only 2 gas stations in town are situated in the eastern part. If you decide to hunker down on the western side of that line, you're essentially making things more challenging for yourself. The kindergarten, located right in front of that dividing line, still has access to some points of interest, but is far from the ideal location. Moving on, we've got a spot that's a bit off the grid, tucked away in a fairly secluded area south of the city, the picnic area. It's adorned with picnic tables both outside and inside, and well, that pretty much sums it up. There's no game-changing loot inside, so if you're planning to seek refuge here, make sure to come fully equipped with every tool and supply you may need. The place boasts a total of 17 entry points around the main property, and true to the West Point fashion, it is not short on its share of wandering zombies. Keep in mind that the road leading to the main area isn't paved, so over time, trees and various bushes will sprout, making it challenging for your car to navigate the area. So far, we are not excelling in the defensibility and accessibility departments with this location. Now let's talk resources. You'll find vast woodland here, and well, that's about it. This location doesn't fare well, and while the allure of hunkering down in a secluded forest spot is understandable, I wouldn't recommend this as a long-term, suitable base for your survival. Claiming the #1 spot on our list is none other than the elementary school in the western part of the city. I don't know what is it about school locations, but they consistently seem to make for some of the worst places to hunker down in every city, and West Point is no exception. In fact, this is arguably one of the worst base locations we have covered in the entire series, mainly due to its lack of proper defensibility. It might seem tempting to choose this location over other spots, especially if you spawn in the area where the school is the only noticeable building. But let me tell you, it is a big mistake. No other building we've reviewed so far comes close to the sheer number of entry points this location presents. To hunker down here, you need to fence off a staggering 46 entry points, which is virtually impossible if you haven't cleared out neighboring zombies first. And let me tell you, this place is crowded. It would take you days of fighting zombies before you can start fencing the area, as it is located in one of the most densely populated areas in town. On top of that, you won't find any noteworthy points of interest other than the convenience store and the Great Ohio River a couple of blocks to the north. Most of your supplies will have to come from scavenging houses, and most of them don't have garages, making it really difficult to target certain essential items like sledgehammers, propane torches, saws, and others. All other crucial points of interest in town are situated in the eastern part, so why bother with this place? If you end up spawning close, well, that's just the game messing with you even more than usual, so just roll with it and shift over to the eastern side of town. You'll find way better spots to set up camp for the long run. Before we wrap things up, I would like to express a heartfelt thank you for all the love and positivity you have shown to our channel. Your support really means the world to us. If you are up for doing a bit more, just hit that subscribe button. It might seem like a small gesture, but it makes a huge difference in helping us stand out in the vast world of YouTube. So thanks a million, folks. And there you have it, our lineup of the worst base locations in West Point. Did we hit the nail in the head? Feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know which one you believe deserves the title of the worst. We trust you had a blast with today's video, and as always, happy surviving. Bye bye.